Hello guys, welcome back to another one of Ryan Reviews. So today's episode is Dear Vikings. So Dear Vikings is about when Spongebob is sweeping around the Krusty Krab and he notices the cup sizes that Mr. Krabs has laid out and differences, and one of them happens to be a Viking-sized cup. But Spongebob asks Mr. Krabs, what is a Viking exactly? So Mr. Krabs basically teaches him. No, Squidward is the one who teaches him about the Vikings, of course, and SpongeBob decides to write to the Vikings. Writing to them, the Vikings themselves actually come down to the Krusty Krab, and they kidnap SpongeBob and Squidward to teach them the actual ways of the Vikings. This episode sucked. I mean, wow. Dear Vikings is a terrible episode. It is an absolute bore of an episode, to say the least. I mean, it's really hard to bore me in an episode. It really is. But I could not stand watching this one specifically. There's so many scenes that drag. There is hardly any jokes I found it funny. The concept, it's somewhat unique. I'll give them that. Viking premise can be good, but they failed completely with it. There is nothing interesting about it. This episode is just so lame. I really don't know what else to say. That much. Humor-wise, like I said, there's nothing funny. I really didn't... There's this scene that's supposed to be taken for a joke where the leader of the Vikings is going around introducing the crewmates, and he says, this is Olaf, and this is Olaf, for like a whole 30 seconds, and then in the end, you know he's not going to say his name is Olaf, but of course, that's the joke. It's Gordon. Like, what was the point of that whole useless filler scene? It wasn't... it's just stupid. And then, of course, SpongeBob and Squidward get into a predicament where they're going to be catapulted for saying bad things about the Vikings. So... And then, of course, the Vikings themselves get into crash into an iceberg, and they're pretty much going to die. But SpongeBob saves the day and ends on a really terrible pun, where he says that was a Viking-sized adventure. And that's the episode. Nothing remarkable, nothing interesting. It's a really bad episode in Season 6, and it's surprising, because I do stand up for this season a lot, but Dear Vikings is just boring. I do not even recommend it. I'm going to give Dear Vikings a 3 out of 10. Ugh. Definitely one of the worst.